Ole Miss kind of blew it on the road against LSU. Kind of blew it there. Yeah, you give up a touchdown drive for them to tie the football game. Kind of throttled it down there. 30 seconds to go. Take it to overtime, and just horrible possession that you had there. Sure, Caden Davis made the field goal, the 57-yard field goal, or whatever it was, but yeah, Jackson Dart, I was also pissed because I had his over passing yards, and he needs 8 passing yards in overtime. Actually, need 8 passing yards in that last possession and overtime. Don't even think he completed a pass. So that's tough. Yeah, Ole Miss, after you pushed in all of your chips this season, you already have 2 losses in the SEC, and it's not even November yet. So pretty interesting look right there. Credit to LSU. Credit to Garrett Nussmeier, man. Came up big time. Kyron Lacey also hyperextending his knee, coming back in the game like a couple plays later. And then, like, the hyperextension, I'm like, oh, geez. Oh,
I
no.
thought it was,
No. And then comes back in the game, plays unreal the rest of the game, and then has a game-winning touchdown. Unreal from Kyron Lacey. Unreal.
he is a dog.
He's a dog, man. He's a dog. So is Garrett Nuss. Nuss bus.
Yeah, I will say that Nussmeier, that was like that was one of the most like Nussmeier stat lines that we've seen, right? Was it 22 of 51, 337 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions.
When it mattered, though. When it mattered, he was
when it
there.
mattered. And by the way, he threw some lasers, some absolute beautiful balls that were dropped, right? He put some, it could have been a lot better for them. But on the other hand here, I still think Ole Miss probably outplayed them. I mean, you saw them miss field goals. You saw the different things that they did. They absolutely, absolutely could have won that football game. It should have won the football game on the road at Death Valley. This is where that Kentucky game kills you. Because this loss, it's not a bad loss at all. You can very, very easily come back from it, right? You played Georgia close, or you beat Georgia, whatever it may be. You're sitting there pretty for the playoffs, but now all of a sudden, zero margin for error, right? You have to sit there and look good doing it. You need some help potentially with the way you're standing right there back at 18. Now we'll see what happens when the first set of college football playoff, rankings come out. But yeah, for a game that you probably outplayed LSU on the road in Death Valley, you would have loved to come away with that win. But credit LSU, man. I will say, I know Ole Miss has a better front seven than I think people are used to seeing from them. And you didn't run the ball with Durham and Josh Williams. But is that split 51 passing attempts, 24 rushing attempts? Is that sustainable for LSU? And it could have been worse with some dropbacks that Nussmeier had and whatnot. But that's the concerning part. Is LSU, yes. By the way, they could be 6-0 if they didn't blow that game. Not blow that game. They didn't lose that game to LSU.
They could have won that. Or they could have won that game against USC. They definitely could have. They
Because
were they turned the ball over on downs 3 times, and then an interception with a chance to.
Exactly. Now, here's what I'll say too on the Ole Miss side. Yes, Trey Harris is a monster. We know that he was a ball. I compared him to like 80 to 90% of what Roma Dunze is, and I feel pretty good about that. That's how high I think of Roma Dunze and Trey Harris. But Caden Prieskorn, he's a difference maker. He's a matchup nightmare. He played 33 snaps last night. Where was he? Right? Yeah. One catch against this LSU team, who, by the way, missing some athletes there in that second and third levels that potentially could be blocked, could be matched up against Prieskorn. And I'm not going to question Lane Kiffin offensively. I'm not going to question his scheme and his play calling, whatever. But I would wonder if he could do it over again. And would Prieskorn have been a difference there on a certain play, certain drives that you didn't score, you didn't punch it in, or maybe it's settle for a field goal, end up missing that. So we'll see. I will say though, you get the ball, so you miss a field goal, and we know Lane Kiffin is who he is, and he's going to be aggressive. He's going to be this, and this. You get the ball on LSU's 13-yard line after an interception there, after you miss a field goal. So boom, 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 sudden change happens. And all of a sudden, it's 4th and goal at the 4-yard line. It's not even like the 1-yard line. So even if you get that, you're not guaranteed to score. 0-0 at Death Valley. It's not like this is a crazy talent gap, right, anymore for LSU. Kick the field goal. I know you just missed a field goal, right? Kick the field goal. Get your confidence back in Caden Davis, right? go up 3-0, and then, by the way, you would be up 13-0, which I think is a lot different football game than 10-0. So we'll see. I'm sure he would love to have it back because with the other hindsight's 2020, blah blah blah. I get that, but are we going to get to a spot where we're talking about Lane Kiffin's in-game coaching decisions, not his scheme, not his play calling, but his coaching decisions in terms of when and when not to go for it? Is that could be a team that's holding Ole Miss back in these big football games?
I don't know.
Overreaction is overreaction.
Maybe. I think they got some games left on the schedule that will let them determine. I think Lane Kiffin has risen to the occasion more times than not, and I think his coaching and play calling has elevated the team to win games that maybe they didn't normally in the past. So I'm not gonna throw him under the bus just after this loss, to be honest.
No, and his play calling, his scheme, everything incredible. One of the best in college football. I get that, but in terms of like a lot of times, man, it's fourth down, and they go for these early in football games, and sometimes it comes back to bite you. But that's also who he is, and his team probably fires him up that they're going for it. I'm not a head football coach in the SEC, so they don't pay me to make that decision. So I just think it was. I wonder if that game turned out differently. That's all I'm trying to say.